What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Raken here today with another banger ranked Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel deck. So as you guys know, I like to share interesting decks, and this one is a highly meta rank 1 deck. The link to the deck is in the video description. You can check it out and kind of like see how it's built. But of course you're gonna have to know how the hell do you use this deck, because sometimes they're quite hard to use. Now I've tried the deck a bit and I'm experimenting with a lot of decks, so that's because why my platinum was like rank 3 I believe, but then after doing lots of experimentation and stuff I went back to 5, but that's alright. I mean, I like to experiment and to try new things out, right? So today we are looking at a very specific interesting deck, which is called, guys, the following: the Mayakashi Eldlich combination deck. That's right. Now this one, guys, is a freaking banger. It's gonna banger because it has all the power of the Mayakashi by basically spamming your graveyard non-stop with your synchro summons, alright? Special summons one after the other, and at the same time you have the Eldlich, which of course, as you guys know, because the deck has mostly spell and trap cards, you can then obviously summon your Eldlich. And if you guys don't know, in your main phase you can discard your monster Eldlich, okay, and then you can destroy one card on the field, and then in your next turn you can then, guess what, discard another card of your magic or trap cards, and then you can special summon your Eldlich again to the field with increased attack and unaffected by card effects. So this one is a pretty hardcore combo, right? This is why this particular deck has reached Platinum 1 by playing it consistently. So of course, let's talk about the mechanics. So number one, the most important aspect of this deck is the following: you do not need to have a lot of monsters. You only need to have very special and specific monsters. Okay, so we start off with the Hajun, the Winged Mayakashi. Of course, this one has a very good effect, which allows you to special summon a Mayakashi card. Whenever you normal summon or special summon this card, you can then special summon your tuner, which is of course going to be this one, your only and necessary tuner in the whole deck. You have 3 of these. Then you have the Yuki Musume. This one is a really good one as well when you want to combine different cards to release one of your Link monsters or one of your Synchro monsters. Really good. And also, if this card is in your graveyard, when you special summon a monster, you can then special summon this one from your deck, and then you can send a card from your deck to your graveyard, which is really good because then you can use the effect of the Mezuki. So it's really good combinations overall. After that, we have the Maxi. You have to have Maxi. This is not a question. In high tier matches, you must have Maxi. And of course, you have to have Ash Blossom of Joy Spring. Again, it's a requirement, 100%. If you don't have these cards, you're gonna suffer a lot, especially if you don't have these cards. Now, you can increase this up to 3 if you want. That's completely up to you. I don't really feel it necessary. I have 2 because that gives you more versatility and just I get the card whenever I want it, but of course it's completely up to you. But have at least 2 of these and at least 2 of these. Then our Daki, the Graceful Tuner. This one is going to be used to spam summon all of these monsters, which is really cool. Then we have Mezuki. Self-explanatory. You can obviously banish this card from your graveyard, then target one zombie monster in your graveyard, then you can special summon it. Really good effect, obviously. Raigeki is my personal choice, my personal addition to this deck. You may not need it if you don't want it, but it's a really good overall staple card which every single deck should have in an emergency situation. So of course, really good. Foolish Burial. Obviously, we're talking about zombies, so a zombie deck has to have this particular card because it allows you to use your strategies so much more, right? With Eldlich, sending Eldlich to your graveyard, then summoning him, sending this card to your graveyard, and then summoning him. There's so many combinations you can use with this deck. And now we have these spell cards and of course the trap cards. Again, some of them are staple, some of them are specific to this deck. So the Mayakashi Return, take one Mayakashi card from your deck except the Mayakashi Return. Obviously you can't take your own magic card, and you put it in your hand. Now of course you can use this one to summon this one, and with this one you can special summon this one, and then bang, you have your synchro summons, and you can start summoning your synchro cards. The good thing about this card is that if you never played the Mayakashi deck, is that once you have actually summoned your synchro, you can, as you can see here in this effect, it says the following: you can special summon this card. You cannot, where is it? Sorry, here we are. Yeah. when a Mayakashi monster is special summoned to your field from the extra deck, so from this particular deck, you can special summon this card. Okay, literally, like, that's it. While this guy is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card. So you can special summon this card every single time you synchro summon. So you synchro summon this one, you can special summon. You can synchro summon this one, special summon, synchro summon this one, special summon, synchro this one, special summon, and synchro this one. So yeah, as you guys can see, pretty damn awesome. After that, we have the following other cards. So these cards, Eldlich, of course, they're linked to the Eldlich. Alright, so this one lets you summon, special summon a zombie monster from your hand or your deck in defense position, which is awesome. If you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only summon Eldlich. So that means that effectively, if you don't have any Eldlich in the field as of yet, because maybe you get this card later, then you can only summon Eldlich. If you get this card, you know, after you got Eldlich on the field, then you can special summon any of these zombies, because all these are actually zombie cards. Don't summon this one because this is not really, I mean, it's not a tuner, so you can use this as a tuner as well. So if you're, you know, if you really need a particular tuner straight away, but this one is more for like negating effects of your opponents, obviously. Like, of course, you can use it as a tuner if you really need it, so that's absolutely fine. Just keep that in mind, that this card is more valuable if it's in hand, because you can negate enemies' effects. Alright, and then we have obviously this one, which is the Cursed Endless. So this is really good because you can pay 800 life points and add one Eldlich monster or one golden land to your deck to your hand, from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent from the spell to the trap to the graveyard, you can send one Eldlich monster from your, or one golden land from your deck to the graveyard. So again, it's really good because you can then recycle your Eldlich. Remember, the whole purpose of this is to have your Eldlich sent to the graveyard as soon as possible, so then you can summon him again with these special effects, so he is unaffected by monster cards. Okay, because when you have him summoned, you can special summon one zombie monster from your hand, and if you do until the end of your turn as opponent, it gains 1000 attack points and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So as soon as you have Eldlich in your graveyard, you can activate the effect of Eldlich, and then it allows you to special summon a zombie from your hand. So first it sends Eldlich back to your hand, and then you can choose to either summon Eldlich or a different zombie, and then that zombie is going to get 1000 attack points, and also it's going to be unaffected by card effects, which is just pretty awesome, right? After this, obviously, we need to have this because we are running a fusion for the Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. So this one, to have a fusion, you have to have this Eldlich on the field and another zombie card, which don't worry, because if you don't have any of these, that's absolutely fine. That's why we have, after the Cursed Endland and this one, 7 cities, we have the Call by the Grave. Again, this is a staple card. You can target one monster in the graveyard and negate its effects. In the current meta, there's a ton of cards which activate their effect in the graveyard. For example, in your own meta, most of your cards have effects in the graveyard, so your enemies will have the same thing. So this one is going to allow you to negate those effects and interrupt their chains. And here we have the actual interesting bits, because then before talking about this one, because this is the Eldlich White Destiny, this one of course is again a staple card. I'm going to talk about this later. This is what's really interesting here, because this card allows you to special summon again a monster from your deck or your graveyard again. So just imagine, you can just summon, and once you've done your synchro summons, okay, and then you can special summon them again back to your field. Each of these cards, when they're sent back from the graveyard to your field, have a special effect. So for example, the Yoko Graceful Mayakashi, when you summon them from the graveyard, you can destroy one monster for free on the field. This one, when it's summoned back to the field, you can destroy one spell or trap card. This one, when you summon, you can have each player send the top 3 cards of their deck to the graveyard. As a zombie owner of zombie deck, that is beneficial, obviously, for you. Then we have this one here. When this card is special summoned again from the graveyard, because of this card effect, of course, they have to have an Eldlich on the field. This card is unaffected by other cards' effects. So again, you just can summon it there. It doesn't matter what card your opponent has. Your card is literally unaffected, right? So it's just amazing. Now, of course, the next part is the trap card. So after this particular trap card, we have the Golden Land Forever. If you control a zombie, you can tribute a zombie and then you can destroy that card. Really good, again. And then these are the trap cards which actually become zombies themselves. So this is a trap card which once it's activated, it becomes a zombie, and then if you control an Eldlich Golden Lord, you can actually make the attack of one face-up card on the field becomes 0. This one in particular, if you control an Eldlich, apart from this becoming a zombie on the field, which then you can tribute summon or whatever, okay? And also by the way, it's a zombie level 5, so you can even use it for Synchro as well, for the fusion. Okay, because for the fusion you have to have 2 zombies, so this one is a fusion material because it becomes a zombie and a trap card at the same time. So this one, when you have the Golden Lord Eldlich, you can actually, what it says here, you can banish 1 card from either graveyard, really good. And in this one, if you activate it once you have Eldlich on the field, you can, guess what, destroy 1 card on the field again. You can literally just destroy the card on the field straight away, right? And this is why this is really cool, because this is what allows you effectively to kind of like recycle. Now the best thing is that even after this, there's even side effects, because each of these trap cards, once they are in the graveyard, you can banish the trap cards or the magic cards, so you can banish any of these, and any of these, you can literally just banish them, and then you can take from your deck another Eldlich, magic or trap card and put it on your field straight away, so you can activate it in your opponent's turn. So it doesn't matter if it's your turn and you can activate them when they're on the field, or your opponent's turn when you can recycle them from the graveyard, because you can banish it from the graveyard and then take one from your deck and put it back on your field. The effects just stack on top of each other. So this deck is really hard to control. I mean, I've been using it a couple of times, I got used to it. I mean, sometimes even I like stop with it and like, wait a second, then you have to use this effect or this effect. But once you kind of get into the move of how does the Eldlich deck work, this is not a trap kind of per se deck. It's more like a deck which uses the advantage of the zombie Eldlich together with the Mayakashi zombies to kind of give you that advantage of constantly spamming your cards. And when you spam your cards, guess what? Each of these cards has, like I said before, special effects: destroying, magic card, monster card, unaffected. And we can also link summon. You can link summon. Of course, I put these in there. They're gonna be hard to link summon because it's quite rare. You're gonna have to have like 3 monsters on the field, but you never know. And of course, you can use this as an emergency as well, which is pretty cool. So you don't really need to have these cards. So these cards here, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, you don't really need them in your particular deck. You can live without them. And this one as well, you don't really need it. If you don't have it, that's absolutely fine. But you should, for this deck, if you're running this deck with Eldlich and Mayakashi, you definitely have to have guaranteed from here Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord, this one, 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 and this one. If you can't have 2 of these, that's fine, just 1. If you can't have 2 of these, that's absolutely fine, 1 is sufficient. Just by having 1 of these and 1 of this and then 1 of these and 1 of this is gonna take you to golden rank for sure, guaranteed, if you use this deck effectively. And of course you know how to use it, because some people get lost, they activate the effect too early or they target the wrong card, so it is a bit complex. Now this deck also has this staple card, which is very important again in the meta, because you can target a face-up monster which your opponent controls and it negates its effects, alright, which is really cool. Of course you don't have to pay any life points, because if you use the Solemn this one, so if you use your Solemn Strike, which I have 2 by the way, so you can actually use this, which when a monster would be special summoned or a monster effect is activated, you can pay 1500 life points and you negate the summon or activation, and if you do, you can destroy the card. So you can definitely exchange these 2 cards for this one, but of course bear in mind you're going to be spending almost half of your life points on this particular thing, so it's a bit more dangerous strategy. Obviously it's a bit more high risk, high reward, because if you destroy the card, yes, really good, this card does not destroy the card, it just negates the effect till the end of the turn, so it kind of gives you more time to plan your attack or to hinder their strategy or their special effects so your card doesn't get destroyed. However, if you really want to risk it massively and like I said before, high risk, high reward, then you can definitely go for this card or even this one, which this one is even more high risk, high reward, because you have to pay 4000 life points or half of your life points to negate the activation of a spell or trap card or a monster summon. However, a monster effect still can be activated, right? This is why this card, from my point of view, if you want to use either of these, this one is better, purely because this one can negate monster effects. And right now in the current meta, monster effects are more predominant than card effects. That's really important. Because of that, I highly recommend you this. And because you have the Blossom and Joyous card, which is this one here, this one actually negates lots of magic cards, which kind of let you like take cards from your deck, summon from your deck, all that stuff. It just negates them completely. So if you run against another Eldlich deck, like this one here, for example, and you have this card in your hand, you actually can negate these cards, because this card, special summons from the deck or graveyard, so actually you can actually negate this card, trap card, just with a monster. So you don't really need, like I said before, this particular card in your deck. If you're really running with this and you have enough credits to kind of convert, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to do it. With this enough, this is absolutely enough. So like I said before, if you can't afford these, that's fine. If you can afford one, that's great. If you can't afford any of them, then use something else. You can use, I don't know, like Harpy's Feather or Mystical Face Typhoon or something, or just other cards which basically kind of like cancel monster effects. Well, if you can at least craft one of this and then one of this, then you're golden, because you're going to be protected, and of course you can then counter your enemy strategy much better. And guys, that's it for today's showcase on the Eldlich Mayakashi deck. This one is a really fun deck to play with. Like I said before, you can definitely get one more Eldlich. I believe that 2 is enough. You don't really need more than 2, it's just too expensive. There's no point of wasting your hard-earned points to kind of craft it. It's done. If you have 2, it's more than sufficient. Of course, if you want to go overkill, you can have 3, but that's completely, of course, up to you guys. And as always, I shall see you guys later in my next uploads about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, the best decks you have on the meta. Like I said before, the deck is right now in the link description in the video. You can check it out, you can copy it, and of course you can put it on your own deck in the game. Guys, that's it for today. Of course, I shall see you later in the next uploads. Bye.